Time management is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. It has the power to dramatically improve your productivity, reduce stress, and give you back control over your life. And yet, it's rarely taught. You are simply expected to figure it out on your own. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 9 time management principles I wish I had known in my early 20s. Because if I had, they would have saved me years of frustration, lost time, and unnecessary pressure. Let's get into it. Number 1 is all about using a calendar. Now, let's get this out of the way. If you're not using a calendar, you're leaving your most powerful time management tool on the table. This might sound basic, but you'd be surprised how many people don't use a calendar at all. Or they only use it for birthdays and doctor appointments, really. But your calendar is the backbone of every other strategy I'll talk about in this video. It's what lets you plan realistically, stay organized, and make intentional choices about how you spend your days. I want you to use your calendar to look ahead. Plan your days, your weeks, even your months. Chances are you already do that a little for vacations or big events, for example, but you should really take it further, as I will show you over the course of this video. Because when you have a clear view of what's coming, you take control of your time. Without a plan, life will constantly throw you off track. But when you use a calendar strategically, you decide what matters and you make space for it. And by the way, if you're wondering whether you should use an analog or a digital calendar, you can basically do both. Paper planners are great because they come with fewer distractions, but in my opinion, a digital calendar is way more practical. Since you can access it from anywhere, it lets you move things around easily and offers unlimited space to plan your time. Which brings me to tip number 2, which is all about using your calendar as your to-do list. I used to rely on a classic to-do list system before discovering this approach. And I just jotted down everything I needed to do in a neat little list, and I hoped for the best, really. But the problem with that was that I rarely actually got all the things done. The issue with traditional to-do lists is that they ignore the most crucial factor in time management, which is time itself. Every task takes a certain amount of time to complete. Yet most to-do lists pretend that time doesn't exist. And that's a setup for frustration. Here is where the calendar comes in. Instead of treating your to-do list and your calendar as 2 separate tools, try using your calendar as your to-do list. Because dropping tasks straight into your calendar does 3 very powerful things. First of all, it assigns a time slot to them. By choosing a specific time to do something, like setting a time slot for working out on Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m, just as an example, you're way more likely to actually do it. Secondly, it just adds perspective and acknowledges your daily schedule. You see immediately whether there's even room for the tasks in your day or week. Many times we overwhelm ourselves with a bunch of to-dos without taking into account that we don't even have the time to get them all done. So scheduling them creates boundaries. You've probably heard of Parkinson's law, which basically states that work expands to fill the time available. Tasks without time limits tend to drag on or get postponed. But if a task lives in a defined time block in your calendar, you're way more likely to finish it efficiently because you're working on a deadline. We are not always great at estimating how long things take, but the more you schedule your tasks, the better you'll get at it. So next time a to-do pops up into your head, resist the urge to just write it down and move on. Instead, take a few extra seconds to ask, when am I actually going to do this? And then put it straight into your calendar. That way you will make sure that it actually gets done. Number 3 is all about planning with empathy. Now, when planning our schedules, it's easy to become overly ambitious. We look at a blank calendar and imagine our future selves as kind of superheroes, right? We are unstoppable, tireless, endlessly productive. But this tendency to overestimate what we are capable of can lead to burnout and frustration and disappointment, really. I used to make this mistake a whole lot. I was stuffing my days with all of these to-dos and appointments, and then I was struggling all day, hating it basically, because I was too tired or too overwhelmed to do it all. So I want to encourage you to plan with empathy for your future self. When you build your day, think not just about what you want to get done, but how you will feel while doing it. What will your energy levels be like in the morning versus the afternoon? Are you giving yourself time to recharge? Scheduling breaks and even unstructured free time is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Treat these pauses as seriously as you treat meetings and deadlines. Also avoid expecting too much from yourself too soon. You cannot expect yourself to run 10 miles every day when you've never run before. So when you're planning, be realistic. Be kind and be forgiving to yourself. The key is to optimize your schedule for sustainability, not for a single day of peak performance. Empathy for your future self means acknowledging that the person who will live your schedule tomorrow is still human, and that person deserves your care and consideration today. The next tip is all about implementing routines. You see, routines are one of the most effective tools for time management, offering a sense of stability and predictability in our often chaotic lives. When you create and stick to routines, you make daily tasks easier and more automatic. This reduces the mental energy required to plan and decide what to do next, allowing you to focus that energy on more important or creative tasks, really. And chances are you already have some routines in place without even realizing it, like brushing your teeth in the morning, taking a shower, or preparing your morning coffee are all examples of small, consistent habits that help you to frame your day. The same principle can be applied to other aspects of your life, like grocery shopping, working out, or meal preparation. By doing the same things at the same time every day or week, you reduce decision fatigue. You no longer have to decide on the fly when to go to the store or to fit in a workout. I, for instance, work out every single morning right after getting up. That way I make sure to start the day in a positive and energizing way, and since it's a routine, it basically happens automatically. Next up is batching. Now, another game changer for time management is batching. Batching is all about grouping similar tasks together and doing them in a dedicated block of time. You do that because every time you switch between different types of work, you lose time and mental energy. Let's say you check email, then write a report, then jump on a call, and then go back to email. Each switch costs focus, but if you batch all of your emails into one block, all your calls into another, and reserve a deep work slot for writing, you eliminate most of those costly transitions. Batching lets you get into the zone. Your brain doesn't have to keep adjusting. It can stay in one gear and operate more efficiently. This is especially helpful for repetitive tasks or small admin work. Instead of scattering them throughout your day, you just knock them out in one go. So start small with this. Pick one area of your workday and try batching it. You'll be surprised how much more you get done and how much less drained you feel at the end of the day. The next tip is all about setting hard priorities. Your time is the most valuable thing you have. Once it's spent, you cannot get it back. And that's why setting hard priorities is essential. You owe it to yourself to be intentional about how you use every single hour of your day. Start by identifying what truly matters and ruthlessly cut out what doesn't. Don't waste time doing things you don't want to do or that don't move the needle. Just because something fills your calendar doesn't mean it's worth your energy. And I want you to be really honest with yourself with this. Are there tasks, meetings, or habits that are just fluff in your day? If so, eliminate them. Apply the 80-20 rule. Identify the 20% of your efforts that generate 80% of your results and prioritize those. Implementing deep work. Interruptions are the biggest enemy of high quality, meaningful work. Every time you're pulled out of focus by a message, an email, or a quick question, it's not just the time of interruption you lose. It's the mental cost of switching gears and trying to dive back in. And that restart tax is huge. Unfortunately, most of our work environments seem almost designed to break our focus. Constant notification, chat apps, open office spaces, all of these make deep, uninterrupted work incredibly difficult. Cal Newport coined the term deep work to describe the kind of focused, undistracted work that allows you to produce at your highest level. And he's right. This is where your best ideas happen, where you make real progress and where you tap into your full potential. So design your schedule with deep work in mind. Block out time where you can work without interruptions. Phone off, email closed, notifications silenced. These are the hours when you'll get your most important work done. Guard them fiercely. And as we were talking about priorities before, when you plan your day, don't just fit in deep work when you can. Make it a priority. Schedule it. Treat it like a meeting with your future self. Because the more of these focused sessions you can carve out, the more you'll accomplish. And the less stressed and scattered you'll feel doing it. Planning buffer time. Now this is actually my favorite tip in this video because it has given me so much calm and sense of control over my life. One of the biggest mistakes you can make in time management is planning your day so tightly that there's no room for the unexpected. Because something will come up. Maybe your boss calls you into an urgent meeting, maybe a task takes longer than you thought, maybe a colleague or a family member needs help, and these moments are part of life. And if your schedule is packed edge to edge, even a small hiccup can throw off your entire day or even your week. Suddenly, you are behind. There is no way to catch up. Stress rises, momentum crashes, and your carefully laid out plan falls apart. And that's why you need buffer time. I personally block out about 1/3 of my working hours for the unplannable. These aren't breaks or free time. They're intentionally empty spaces in my calendar that give me breathing room. When nothing unexpected happens, I use that time to catch up on tasks, or I pull work forward from the next day, which is way easier than it is to reshuffle your whole week when something gets delayed. Buffer time makes you more resilient. It takes pressure off your shoulders. It gives you flexibility. So when you're building your schedule, don't just think about what you hope will happen. Plan for what might happen. Leave room, expect interruptions, and give yourself the space to respond instead of react. Now the last tip is all about reflecting and optimizing your schedule. Time management isn't the one-time fix or a static system. It's an ongoing process that requires attention, intention, and continual adjustment. The truth is, no matter how carefully you plan, you can't predict everything. Life is full of surprises. Unexpected tasks pop up, energy levels fluctuate, and priorities shift. That doesn't mean your schedule failed. It means you are human. The key is to see your plan not as a rigid blueprint, but as a living, breathing guide that evolves with you. So regular reflection is crucial. Set aside time to look back on how your days and weeks actually unfolded. What worked and what didn't? Where did time slip away and where did you feel most aligned and productive? Course correction is not a sign of failure. It's a vital part of the process. Each time you review and adjust your schedule, you're refining it to better suit your real life, not just your ideal one. Over time, these small optimizations can lead to big improvements in how you manage your time and, more importantly, how you experience it. So this was a whole lot of information. I hope it kind of helped you as much as it helps me every single day. If so, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and maybe you want to watch the next video, which is somewhere up here. And that leaves me with wishing you a very nice day. Goodbye.